Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. My apologies for the confusion around the time zones. I know this is one of the big challenges we face with LiveX and being digital and arriving to our online sessions and virtual exchanges. But I'm really happy to see you all, those that have managed to join. Today's session is intended to revisit a little bit about advocacy, and we've invited two speakers that are both students at Wits University in Johannesburg, and they're going to share a little bit with you about their work with the South African Food Sovereignty Campaign and on the ground inside their campus, what they've been doing with food gardens, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from them. The idea is that this session gives you some inspiration and some ideas to share with your mentees. And we'll have a question and answer session towards the end. I need to tell you all apologies from Giada. She had an injury and she's not able to join us today. She might pop in during the call, I'm not sure. But yeah, she sends her apologies for not being here with us. Okay, so I'd love to start this call with a little tune in, like we like to call it, and a check-in. I know you've all been waiting for 15 minutes to start. So maybe we can just begin by taking a minute to stop exactly where we are. Maybe you've got various screens open or your phone as well. So let's all check that our phones are on silent, including myself. And let's take a moment to really, arrive and get ready for this call so that we can be present for the time that we're together. And if you are able to, you can rest your feet on the ground. And let's just start with 3 deep breaths and give ourselves the opportunity to take a few seconds for ourselves. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And you can just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're going to do that 2 more times, breathing in and breathing out. And the last nice deep one, breathing in and breathing out. And hopefully this gives us some moments rest in our busy days. So I'd like to begin, and I'd love to just check in with everybody. 3 simple words. So how are you feeling? What's the weather like where you are? And what are you hoping to get from this call? I'm going to type it into the chat. So how are you feeling? What's the weather like where you are today? And what are you hoping to get from this call? Okay, so there you have it in the chat. And if you're not able to speak, you can share your answers in the chat. So, but maybe we can start with, I can start with Mercy, and then you can pass to the next person.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Let me just look at the chat. I'm feeling calm, prepared for the meeting to hear what you guys have planned for us, Kate and your team. The weather today in Nairobi is cold. I know my background is at the beach, but Nairobi is quite cold, so we are freezing. And what am I hoping to get from the call? I'm quite open. I don't really have any expectations, so I'm just here to listen and to learn. And I'm passing my microphone to Abdallah.
Thank you, Inyanya. It was nice hearing from our neighbors. Yeah, you're welcome. Next time you have to visit here, Dar es Salaam. Yeah, my name is Abdallah. I'm from Dar es Salaam, speaking from Dar es Salaam. Let me see the message. the guiding questions. Yeah. I'm feeling like mixed emotions since morning. I don't know why, but I have to trace it back and to learn from it why my feelings today is mixed ones. I'm happy, a little bit not happy, cool, but hoping to get my mood soon after some 30 minutes. What the weather? Yeah, Dar es Salaam today is a little bit cool, mixed with a cloud and sunny. Maybe I don't know why, even maybe it's connected to my mood today. Maybe it's mixed there, the weather it's mixed as well. Cool and sunny and a little bit moderate temperature. And what I'm hoping, yeah, I'm hoping to network with our presenters and to learn new stuff. Thank you. Yes, let me pass this to and two. Okay, Fabumi, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Abdallah. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good because I've had a lot of challenges last week, and I'm happy that I was able to, tackle some of them, which is like a good news for me this week. And the weather today in Lagos is a little bit cold but wet. It's been raining like crazy for the past 2 days. And almost everywhere is flooded here in Lagos. But it's cool. It has rained again this morning, and it still looks like it's going to rain. And for what I'm expecting from this meeting, I think I'm quite open. I really want to learn. I'm just curious, and I'm here with my pen and paper to pen down everything that will help me with my mentees. So I'm glad to see these beautiful faces, and I hope I'll get something meaningful at the end of the day. So I'll pass the mic to Simfiwe. I hope I got the pronunciation right.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Simpiwe. I didn't write the country name, so but I'm from South Africa, Johannesburg. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling good, just tired. I've been doing a lot of work lately, so yeah. The weather is actually quite cold. It's been raining throughout the night, so it's a bit chilly outside, but it's beautiful. And what am I hoping to get from this? Learning from other people. I love hearing people's stories, especially when it comes to advocacy. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting to know all of you. So yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to Bridget.
Bridget, can you unmute? We can't hear you. We see you, but we don't hear you.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm really happy. I'm feeling very happy because the weather here, it's a little bit cold. It has been hot some days, but then today it's a little bit cold, so it's a little bit good. Yeah, so today I'm hoping to keep on learning more from you guys. So yeah, I'm looking forward to learn more, adding on what I already know. Yeah, thank you. So I'll pass the mic to Vera, if she hasn't already spoken.
Hi, Bella. I wonder if you can hear us. I think you just joined the call. Bella, can you hear us? Okay, maybe we can pass to Fabunmi. Oh no, we've had Fabunmi already. Can we pass to ICYE Kenya, Kola? Okay, it seems they're not hearing us. I'm going to pass to Nessa, who's also just joined the call. Welcome, Nessa. Thank you for joining us. So we're just doing a brief check-in with everyone that's here and asking how you're feeling today, what's the weather like where you are, and what are you hoping to get from this call? And if you're able to turn on your video, that would be great.
Hi everyone. I am feeling a bit groggy today. It is a very cold, gloomy morning in Johannesburg, but yes, as Mel said, still very beautiful. Yeah, I'm very excited to meet people who are working in the same space as myself and my team. Yeah, always very hopeful. And yeah, I'm excited to share our stories together. And then I nominate someone. Let's see. Now that Bella has joined and you've explained, I'm going to nominate her.
Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you, Bella. I hear you well.
So for today, I'm feeling excited and also hope to learn a lot here and also share a little bit that I know and I have learned during this time during the LiveX project. Is there something that I have to say also?
So we were just asking how the weather is there by you in Mozambique today, and if you would like to nominate the next person. I think only Alid still needs to share, and Klaus, of course.
So the weather in Mozambique is, yeah, today it's fresh. When I woke up, it was raining, but now the sun is shining. So it's, yeah, today's fresh. Thank you.
Thanks, Bella. I wonder if Alid, are you able to share? Can you hear us?
Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm fine this morning. Okay, I'm so glad to participate this session with you.
How is the weather in Togo today, Alid? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it raining?
It's very cold. It's very cold this morning. It's very rain.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm going to pass to Klaus. I think he's the last one to share.
No, before Klaus, there's me.
Oh, where are you? Agatha, I'm so sorry.
I'm here.
Sorry, Agatha.
No, it's okay. Hello, everyone. The weather in Zimbabwe, it's a bit windy, but at times it's so sunny. But all is well, and I'm so happy and feeling so energetic. I'm hoping to be more equipped than I was yesterday. So that's why I'm here, and I'm happy to be seeing the happy faces. Thank you.
Thank you, Agatha. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicholas. The weather here is, yeah, it's cloudy. It's not very cold. It's not very hot. It's a perfect weather, I would say. It's the weather to my liking. And it's so unlike Dar es Salaam. I'm genuinely happy and I'm excited to see you all and see what the outcome of this call today will be. And I hope it's very helpful. And I'm also even more excited to hear from our friends who are going to present us from the university, the Kent University. So I'm really happy. Thank you, Kate, for inviting them over, you know. And I think now I'll pass it back to you, Kate.
Thank you, Klaus. Okay, great. Yeah, I forgot to introduce, I'm Kate, I'm in South Africa. I'm feeling good now that I'm in the call. I was a bit rushed because of the time mix-up. I'm really sorry. And the weather it's a beautiful winter's day. It was very cold in the night, like 3 degrees, but now the sun is shining and it's warm and I'm very happy. And I'm hoping that this call is helpful to everybody and that I'm also going to learn a lot and that we can feel inspiration and motivation to go into your second cohorts. Klaus, you have your hand up.
Oh, yes, I just wanted to say something. It's just the drill. I wanted to let everyone know that we're recording this call. So staying on means, you know, they're consenting that we record for the purpose of the project and for the learning purpose of other people who are not here. But also there is a live caption option for those who are at least not speaking English or are finding it difficult to follow up. So they can allow it to then have translation in their own languages. Portuguese and French should be fine. I'm afraid Swahili is not as accurate or it's not even there, but then they're able to follow through and they can also leave the chats there in the languages that they're comfortable with, and we can always translate and have them engaged while they're still on this call. That's just it, Kate. Back to you.
Thank you, Klaus. That's very helpful. And I'm aware that some of you aren't able to use your audio, and you're welcome to write questions in the chat or ask for clarification in the chat, and we'll review the chat as the call goes on. Okay, so I would just like to introduce Nessa and Simpiwe. They are both students at Wits University, and I met them both through the South African Food Sovereignty Campaign, running a very beautiful project of food gardens inside the university campus. But I won't say much more because I think they're going to share with you how they're involved. I know that Simpiwe is also mentoring other students at the university. So although that's not officially why she's here, you might want to ask her some questions about that. And also the South African Food Sovereignty Campaign and the South African Climate Justice Charter Movement, they're both mentioned inside the LiveX toolkits as good examples of advocacy. So I know personally just reading about something sometimes doesn't bring it to life, but I'm hoping that through meeting Nessa and meeting Simpiwe, you will have the chance to understand that this is a real campaign with real people involved, and maybe even feel more confident linking your mentees to read about it or connect to this organization or this movement as good practice or an example or someone to gain inspiration from. So I'm hoping to bring this toolkit more to life in the sense of meeting the real people that are engaging with this. So yeah, I'm going to pass to Simpiwe and Nessa, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to share with us today. And thank you so much for joining us, both of you.
Nessa, do you want to start just share about CJCM and SAFC, and then I'll follow you?
Sure, I can do that.
Cool.
Cool. Hey, so hi everyone. I was so excited to show off my CJCM merch, my little t-shirt that I have, but a bit too cold and gloomy today for me. Again, it's so wonderful meeting you all. I always find it really exciting to just see people who share the spaces that we're in. It's really exciting. As Kate has, my name is Nessa. I am an honors student at the University of Witwatersrand, and I'm studying English literature. I am responsible for the student-led body of Climate Justice Charter Movement, and I'm here today to share the story of how we came into being, what my role is in organizing students, and what exactly we do for students and the greater African community. So CJCM has had quite a long history. Our student group has only been existence for the past 3 years, but the campaign
Bon,
itself
connexion,
came
toi,
about-
alors, donc. C'est-à-dire,
Yeah.
connexion normale à Tourcelle, hein, ça marche.
Sorry, I'm getting some feedback from someone. But yes, our
Sorry about that.
campaign
Go
came-
on. I just muted them.
Okay, no problem. Yes, so our campaign came into existence in 2013 during the worst droughts in South African history. It was championed by the South African Food Sovereignty campaign, and COPAC, which is a policy alternative center. And these groups observed issues facing people and communities. Yeah, they were issues that were exacerbated by climate change, food sovereignty, energy insecurity, transport, a various range of issues. And they essentially rallied these communities and grassroots organizations within them, and formulated practical systemic alternatives. So in that 6 years of campaigning, and much more organizing in labor, the Climate Justice Charter was launched in 2020. And yes, I will share that with Kate, and hopefully she is able to share it with you as well. But it's really a beautiful little book that outlines our principles, our goals, our objectives. And I don't have time to share them all with you now because they're very intricate, but I hope you have the chance to take a look. Now, if I asked you all how climate change has affected you and your communities, the answers would be drastically different, not just based on your geography and your weather patterns, but also your income, your access to resources, land, housing, medical care, your basics like running water and electricity. And this is especially true in South Africa. Our country is extremely large, so we have a number of microclimates, and each one is affected very uniquely by climate change. On top of that, we also have very drastic income inequality. So people on an individual level are more likely to be unable to deal with these effects. A lot of our country experiences drought, but the coastal city where I'm from, Durban, is somewhere that continues to experience erratic rainfall. And it's the type of rainfall that has washed away houses just from sheer force or mudslides. And it's damaged water drainage systems, particularly our sewage systems. And some of that sewage still continues to spill into our main tourist attraction, which is our oceans and rivers. I am lucky enough to live in a house that managed to stay. A lot of people were not so lucky. And this small coastal town is a speck in the greater Southern African region, where the interior warming, is twice the global rate. So climate change is physically more intense in our region, and the region is also composed of developing nations. So less than adequate disaster relief management is implemented here. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that our climate has been changing, and it's been changing for a very long time. But it is changing much faster in third world nations such as ourselves. Thankfully, though, we have people united through fear and through faith that have formed like CCIVS and COPAC and CJCM, organizations that not only question the status quo, but also imagine better futures based on systemic alternatives. Yes, I could go on for 3 hours about how capitalism is the most illogical thing, but I don't think we have the time. So on to how I got involved. I, like most people, and I think it's really important to keep this in mind when we're doing advocacy or organizing on any level, I was unaware of the severity of climate change and already overwhelmed by the small amount of information that I had. And I think climate change to many individuals can feel like that. It's this looming, intangible doom that sits over our heads, and it really can make you feel helpless. So having the ability to join a group where I could make small, actionable changes, and those went towards making a better world, that was really life-changing for me. And I joined CJCM in 2023, after I had applied to fill their role as social media manager. And I really quickly fell in love with how much love and passion and patience these students had for their environment and the people in them. I actually remember the first community meeting we had. Our treasurer, Raina, she said that you are a university student. There are times where you're going to be anxious or busy or depressed, and that's okay, because we do what we can, and what we can't do ourselves, that's what we have support for. And I often think of these meetings that we have online or in person as just building those support systems up and making sure that when we can't fulfill our roles, that we have people who can step in and support us. Yeah, and that's something that's really resonated with me and has been a pillar of my activism in the past few years. It's recognizing people's humanity, meeting them where they're at, and assuring them that what they do and what they have to offer is enough. And it's something that's really aided this movement building that we've been trying to do. And also just prevents you from getting overwhelmed or frustrated or just generally burnt out. It's just acknowledging people have limitations, and that you yourself as an activist have limitations, and that you need rest, and people will support when the time comes. So social media, I think, for me, was the perfect way to start my advocacy journey, because it forced me to really deeply consider the way people think. And something I've noticed, especially in the activism space, is that sometimes when we try to implement positive change, it has little thought about what our community or the people around us need, and even less thought about what they would want. And in my experience, I found the best way to build and sustain these movements is understanding people's interests and catching their attention based on these interests, and then integrating your educational climate actions around them. Details mattered. The tiniest little things, like the shade of green I used for a poster, or how I organized the text, or where I put our adverts up. Those things really mattered, and I've taken that into other aspects of advocacy. Yeah, just thinking about how do I greet someone, or what questions am I going to ask them to feel like we are curious about their lives, or is the environment I've made welcoming and friendly? Does it keep people entertained and engaged? Does it make people feel safe? Does it invite questions and ideas? Those are really things to think about when you want to form a group or a community based in climate action. And yeah, just thinking about how we foster a dynamic that makes people want to come and makes people want to stay is really important. Yes, I have actually not been able to access my slides. They are on Canva, but it seems like they aren't connecting. I'm going to try and share my screen so that I can put up some posts that our new social media has managed to put up. Let's see. Okay. Can you all see that? Can I just get some feedback with it?
Yes, yes.
Visible. Cool. I'm going to let play the background, because I'm sure seeing this is a lot more exciting than seeing a single frame. Okay, perfect. So shortly after I started up the role as social media manager, we began revitalizing the community gardens, and they had died down during the COVID lockdown period. And as an avid gardener, that really naturally got me interested in food sovereignty. And later, when Kate visited on behalf of SASI to develop those gardens, I became really interested in agroecology and agroforestry and sustainable food systems. As you can see here, it was a lot of work. We started off with land that was really hard baked by the sun, and we got a group of people together to work on it continuously every single week. And since revitalizing those gardens, we've created a system that appoints students to lead volunteer groups. It has been formalized into a community service project. We've hosted seed germination workshops, maintenance days, harvest days. We've appointed a farmer very recently assigned to food production within the university. And I want to mention that food insecurity within the university space is extremely common, which is a very sad phenomena, but it's given me hope that we have people dedicated to combating this issue that we have. I'm trying to think, what else have we done? We've launched a food sovereignty hub, which is a major tenet of the CJCM Food Sovereignty Initiative. It's equipped with a seed bank, a tool bank, another garden, nurseries, a greenhouse, a community center, and a kitchen is coming as well. And this is all money that has been raised by activists within this group to create this very safe, very community-driven space. And we plan to address food insecurity through these hubs across the nation and hopefully across Africa, taking into consideration the details and the intricacies of each community. And as a student, I'm very hopeful. The movement on a university level has had its ups and downs, but we continue to build on the work of others, and through that, we recognize that we're not alone. Movement building is exactly that. It's honoring and building the work that others have done, and that makes systemic change creation like so much easier. Yes, I think that comes to the end of our garden photos for 2024, but I'm hopefully going to be able to share much more with you in future, and I hope we see each other's faces and hear each other's voices more throughout the year and the coming years. If you have any questions, I think Kate will facilitate that at a later time, but I'm going to pass on to Mel Simpiwe.
Hey, Nessa said quite a lot, and I think she kind of gave a great summary of what we do as the Wits Food Commons Gardens. And honestly, I don't think there's much I can add onto that because she really gave a well-rounded description. But just to introduce myself and then tell you what I do within the gardens. My name is Cynthia Msiza, but everyone calls me Mel. You can choose whichever you prefer. I'm a master's student at the university, and I'm an avid lover of earthworms. I started volunteering with the food gardens in my first year of undergrad, so 2021. And was purely out of curiosity and boredom because this was during the COVID times and a lot of the classes that we had were online, so I had time on my hands. But initially, I didn't start with the gardens. I started with the Wits WCCO, which is a program that helps students get food parcels every other week. So I helped with packing, and I was introduced to the gardens out of just pure luck. There was a volunteer who was asking for help because the Wits Sanctuary was where the gardens were, and I just decided to join. So from then on, it was a thing of just wanting to see how the Wits Gardens would grow, especially coming from the perspective of a student who's seen how the lack of food, proper food on campus is affecting a lot of students. It's not just a once-off thing, it's a day-to-day thing that you see that there are some students who are struggling to make ends meet, especially on the food side, because they don't have the financial capacity for that. And what I love about the food gardens is that we're trying to get to the point where we can provide for these students so that they don't have to feel that burden on top of the studies that they're going through. So yeah, from 2021 up until now, I've been volunteering where I can, helping along. And in the past year, I was elected as a garden leader for one of these sessions. So essentially, our garden sessions started off on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday basis, where each day it had its own certain time slot. So from Monday, I think it was around 9 to 12. So it was an hour and a half time slot where we would maintain the garden. So watering, planting, weeding, harvesting, and then the harvest would have to go to the sanctuary so that they can prepare the harvest for the students. And having to lead those sessions, moving from being a volunteer who was caring and maintaining for these gardens to being a leader has been a really great experience for me because I get to see the other side of things. For example, having to deal with a variety of people. So with the gardens, it's not just a set type of student that comes in. We have students from all walks of life. We have students from all faculties. So you get to see their perspective. You get to understand why they're doing what they're doing, what made them come. Personally, I apart from the fact that I was curious about the gardens, I'm coming from a background where in my family we love farming. My grandparents have a farm. So it's a thing that I grew up around, and having to see that a university has these gardens and they're working towards growing them was something that kind of fascinated me because I wouldn't have thought that an institution like Wits would have gardens or would have some form of agroecology within it. But hearing how these different volunteers just relate to the gardens, some solely just coming out of curiosity, others wanting to learn more so that they can implement it themselves when they get home, is something that I've grown to love as a leader, and seeing people just appreciate the earth for what it is, because I think most of the times, because we're just exposed to commercialization of things. Like I can just buy fruits and vegetables at the store. I can just go to the supermarket and get whatever I need. We don't really appreciate the food that we have on our plate. But having to put the seed in the soil and water it and see it germinate and grow and eventually become fruit is something that I think a lot of the volunteers have grown to appreciate. And they've grown to appreciate what they eat because it's clean too. They know where it comes from because they've grown it themselves. And yeah, I think that's one of the best things that I've gotten from being a garden leader, apart from also learning about the indigenous plants that we have in South Africa. I think before having to go through the courses that the CJCM and SAFC gives us, because we always have courses that kind of teach us to grow more, I think for me, it was more so I just thought of indigenous plants as things that we didn't need to care about because they're indigenous to the country. But having to go through agroecology and agroforestry and understanding that it's all a web, it's all a cycle that brings us together, I've kind of seen that there is an importance not only in growing indigenous food, but also teaching other people to do so, because it doesn't just stop at you yourself as the leader or the mentor. It goes on to everyone else. So once you impart that information, it's going to go on to communities where people are going to grow more. And it's truly a beautiful journey. I don't think I would have wanted it to go any other way. There have been some challenges along the way, especially because we live in a city. And Johannesburg has been riddled with a lot of problems, especially with service delivery. So, for example, one of our gardens, I think at the beginning of 2022, we struggled a lot of water because the university was not able to provide us with water. So we had to find ways to get that water. And I think that kind of also gives you a form of resilience coming from the point of view of a student, that if these plants are able to grow with that little bit of maintenance that they get, then you yourself surely can get past, coursework or whatever is going on in your life. And yeah, having seen what Nessa has shown you with the slides from 2024, I think overall the food gardens has just become a home for me, because I've gotten to learn about things that affect my community, not just Johannesburg, but the country as a whole. Because I think also being in a particular place, you're isolated from your surroundings in the sense that you don't really know what's happening in the rest of the country. Neither sometimes do you care, but having to go through, like I said, the courses with CCIVS and CJCM and learning all about that, it's kind of made me understand that as a country, yes, we go through a lot of the challenges that are brought by climate change. But like Nessa said, it's the little actionable things that you do that kind of build towards bettering it. I've seen physically how the gardens have changed. From 2021, for example, one of the gardens that we have, the sanctuary, the soil was not as good as it is right now. And as I've mentioned earlier on, I'm a huge fan of earthworms. The gardens in 2021 were really bad, and the soil was not that fertile. But because we constantly tried and we constantly worked on it, we had maintenance sessions, we taught each other, we shared information, we shared seeds. We learned that you don't just plant one type of seed, but you diversify. Looking at the gardens now, you can see that there's an active change. And sometimes I feel like as activists or people who are advocates for climate change, we kind of get, I don't know, discouraged by the work that we do because it's slow. But I don't think we should let that get into the way of what we're doing. Because like Nessa said, I will repeat, those more actionable works can bring us to a better place. And like I've said, I've seen it with the gardens that we have. And yeah, honestly, I think being a mentor also challenges yourself because you want other people to learn from you. But it's not only just a one-sided thing, it's you learning from these people too, learning from the volunteers. I have some volunteers coming in and telling me, oh, I researched this particular plant. I think we can plant it here and we could do this there. It's beautiful to see that because you see that it's what you're teaching people or what you're giving people is not falling on barren soil. People are actively trying to get to better themselves and actively trying to help the university. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the future and seeing how the gardens grow. I'm looking forward to seeing the hub grow itself, but to seeing people learn more. Information is truly power, and seeing students being interested about this, not it just being a cause that's spoken about in the news, but a cause that they actively know and are working to better within the university space is something that I am really looking forward to. And yeah, I don't have much else to say. As I mentioned, Nessa has said a lot, which I think is the core of what we believe in as CJCM and SAPC. And yeah, that's all I have from myself.
Thank you so much, Simpiwe and Nessa. I really enjoyed. I've been taking notes and trying to catch all of the beautiful things that you've shared. And I think before I say anything, I just want to open the floor. You can ask questions to either Nessa or Simpiwe. And if you're not able to use the audio, you can just write your question in the chat and I'll read it for you. Enoch, go ahead.
Thanks, Kate. Sorry, guys, I came late, but I'm so much interested to learn more what these guys are doing at Wits. And I actually wanted to ask if it's also possible, like, we invite them also to Savoy, because we've got a group of young people that need to actually learn more of what they are doing. So I don't know if it's possible, Kate, to ask the guys to come to Savoy anytime, please.
Enoch, do you want to explain to them what Savoy is a little bit and how you're engaging with the community? If you want to tell them yourself and then see what Nessa and Simpiwe can respond.
Yes, okay, thank you. But I talk too much. I can take the whole day talking about Savoy. But
A,
okay,
a brief explanation.
Okay.
Because they're not, I don't think they're so familiar with the CCIVS and ICYE and what we do for exchange and volunteer. So just a very short explanation.
Okay.
And just to give Nessa and Simpiwe some context, Enoch is in Pretoria. So he's also in
Yes.
Johannesburg, which is why he's asking. Yeah.
Yeah. So SAVO is like a community-based organization. We a non-profit organization that is based in the heart of Soshanguve, like deep inside the community. So we are part of the program for LiveX, which other guys are from other countries: Tanzania, Zambia, Malawi, Nigeria, Tanzania, Kenya. So we basically have got one of this program that we actually have started, which is the National Youth Service. So we're gonna be also having some community work with young people within Mabopane and Soshanguve. So one of the other programs that we have is gardening projects that they will have to do some gardening projects in ECDs, these early childhood development centers. So we would like to get them to get exposure also. That's what Simpiwe has been saying. Like gardening is something that you can learn from the start. You know, it's just not something that you can like out of the blue, but learn to grow and appreciate. So we'll just have to ask for motivation, especially from these guys, to actually start these garden projects in their communities. Thank you.
Nessa or Simpiwe, would you like to respond?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's great to connect with other people, especially because you guys are in Pretoria, which is really not far. I think that would build a great community, but also we can learn from you guys. So yeah, I think that's a great opportunity. I think you should contact Nessa, and because she's the chair of CJCM at Wits, and we can get something working.
Thank you, Simpiwe. I also think that what might be very interesting, Enoch, just to jump in, is that Nessa mentioned this concept of a food sovereignty hub. And they've established the first one in Johannesburg now inside the campus. Obviously, there was quite some funding, but it consists of a garden and a seed bank. And now they're funding for a kitchen. And it also has like a hub, like a learning space. And maybe it would be interesting to create like a sister hub in Pretoria, and you can share seeds from there. And it doesn't have to be something big, but they're busy establishing a hub in KwaZulu-Natal as well as part of the SAFC campaign, let's say. And I believe there's another one being set up in another province. So the idea is to establish these hubs, which really demonstrate the sustainability, education, and food sovereignty, which is very different to food security. And it's something that's also mentioned in the LiveX toolkit, is this food sovereignty campaign. This is very important. It's a very different concept, and maybe important to mention and invite your mentees to understand that food sovereignty is something that we campaign for, because it's really about becoming climate resilient, eating indigenous foods, eating diets which are specific to our cultures, and keeping the power of food growing in our local communities. Whereas food security is often something where food is coming from the outside in a time of disaster, but it doesn't look at the systemic solutions to hunger and even to climate resilience and climate justice. So food sovereignty has a lens of justice connected to it as well. And I think that's really important to bear in mind. But at the end of this call, Enoch, you can write me an email and I can connect you with Nessa, and you guys can connect directly. That would be great. Abdallah, I see that your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. And I'm so impressed with the presentations, and of course, I'm so moved on it. I was reflecting on the point of qualifications, and one statement that inspired me the most also is it's very important knowing where food is coming from. Yeah, and that is so important. And I think this interconnects with our work that Mazingira Plus is doing. Mazingira Plus is an NGO here in Tanzania, and the mazingira is a Swahili word. In English, we say environment. So we also, this idea of gardening is one of the components that our Zero Waste School program is doing here in Dar es Salaam, where we teach the students and the pupils aged from 5 to 17 years how to separate waste and how to divert the organic waste to make compost and organic gardening in school compound. So, and our vision is so clear on that. We wanted to connect from the primary school, secondary school, high level to the campus. So from the 2027, we're going to have a zero waste campus for university students. So I think this will align with what they're doing. So it's very important maybe for us Mazingira Plus to connect with them and they learn from each other, because I might have some learning or exchanging ideas with them, and they see how we can move together, because it's so important currently maybe to consider also South-South sharing of skills and knowledge on that point of view, without forgetting North-South sharing of ideas as well. So I think from that angle, we can collaborate together and see how we can move this cycle of sustainability and intergenerational point of thinking on the areas of climate justice. Yep, thank you. I think that is enough from my end.
Thank you, Abdallah. Yeah, it's really powerful to connect our projects and understand also that we can be part of this. Just a small garden on the ground, when we connect to a movement, then our gardening becomes advocacy. It's advocacy anyway, but if the visibility is not there and we would like to be recognized, and it can even leverage funding, it covers many things. So if we can help our mentees to understand the value of even a small project or a small garden on the ground, how that can be seen if they connect into a bigger project or bigger movement, let's say not project, bigger movement or bigger campaign, it can really make them feel empowered. I loved what Nessa said, that just a small project or a small thing can actually be very powerful. So the idea there is to see that we are networked and connecting, and maybe help your mentees to connect to, maybe there's existing food sovereignty campaigns that are more regional or local to your countries, but this is the one that's covering South Africa and beyond. Is there anyone else? We've got a comment here from Alit, and he's saying that he's observing in Togo, we've observed that gardening activities primarily attract adults, particularly women. The real challenge now is to encourage greater youth involvement in order to pass on the benefits of gardening and engage young people in sustainable and productive practices. So maybe the question there for Simpiwe or Nessa, so I know you're in the university, which makes it easier, but how would you suggest, or how do you recommend attracting or encouraging more involvement from youth in such a project?
Yeah, you're absolutely right that the university space makes it really easy for youth to engage with gardening. And the idea from our side is to expand this concept of a food sovereignty hub into different communities across South Africa, so that there is an area in your local neighborhood that you could walk to, take a bus to, and that you can learn more about gardening or food sovereignty, and you have the resources and the community to work with. So that's the idea. It's just kind of expansion bit by bit, and yeah, just working with people's interests to make other people interested as well. Yeah.
Can I just add what Nessa
Please,
said?
please do, Simpiwe, yes.
So another thing that CJCM does is that they kind of create these events that revive students. So with each gardening session, you'd have, let's say at the end of the month, you have a reflection session, which is essentially you just reflect on the month and what you've been doing and how you feel about gardening, but also to bring and share. So you can bring your own snacks. You get to know the other volunteers. In that way, kind of motivates you to keep going. And I've realized that kind of helps also because you find that there's some volunteers who bring their friends or their siblings or classmate, anything in between. But also I love how they've kind of integrated the gardening system into the Wits the Wits Community Center with the sanctuary, where the students are actively given these motivators in the sense of a co-curricular transcript. So the more you come to the sessions, the more you can get like credits on your transcript. But also, just like I said, with the events that the CJCM plans, last year we had a stargazing event. So that kind of motivated more volunteers to come because everyone is interested, like, how does gardening and astronomy come together? So it's just finding ways where you can attract the young people, because I know the idea of gardening itself sounds a little bit boring for some people, but finding ways that connected to the things that young people love, like meeting other people or social media, as Nessa has mentioned, that kind of motivates them to keep coming.
Thank
Yes,
you so much, Mel. Oh, Nessa, you want to add something?
just a little bit more to add on to that.
Please.
We all have our niches in climate justice, and I think that's very important, like to recognize that not everyone is going to be interested in food sovereignty, but they may be interested in textiles and fashion waste, or they may be interested in agriculture and housing. And these are all specific things that people need to survive, and it might not be a physical requirement of our bodies, but as dire of a physical requirement, but they really are important. Something that we're planning is a clothes swap within the coming weeks, and the idea behind that is to reduce textile waste, but also to create a sort of closed loop economy, because there's a recognition that we have enough clothes on the planet to clothe the next 6 generations. And people don't think about that when they come to the clothes swap. They think about, I am really interested in fashion and I have clothes that I need to give away. But they can learn through that event how it connects to climate justice. Yeah, so that's also really important.
Thank you, Nessa. I wanted to add that in Nessa's presentation, she said something that really stood out for me, where she spoke about understanding people and how to create, I'm not sure the wording, but it's like creating an ecology of care in our groups so that the space is safe and people feel welcome. So I think attracting youth, I love the ideas that you stargazing and a clothes swap or a kind of green fashion event, but linking it then to making gardening and as an educational moment, you know, to raise awareness and share. And I think also young people love to meet young people. So creating a safe space where the garden is so much more than just a place to farm and grow food and work hard, but it's a place to laugh and share these reflection circles that you have monthly. I think that really makes it attractive for young people to make friends, where the garden becomes a space, as I think CPRA said, there's so many different faculties, different years as well, but they all come together there. So there's a diversity that the garden invites. Just like we plant indigenous plants next to the vegetables, it creates a space for inviting in different people to get together, different young people to get together. And it's much more than just there to grow food. So making it more diverse, I hope that helps to answer a little bit the question. Agatha, I see your hand is raised. Would you like to ask something?
Oh, okay. It's not really a question, Kate, but I wanted to contribute something to what Ali was just saying. Youth involvement is not really easy, but in Zimbabwe, we actually are trying to find ways that will make them engage more. Like currently, we are hosting more like 5 countries, and under the same theme as we're working on the second cohort for this live session. And I believe it's because the way you market it out there to the youth, it gives them the zeal and the passion to come forward and see what is really happening there. And if I'm going to another country, what am I likely to see and how I'll cope up when they're presenting what they are doing and so forth. So what we did is we tried to make it so meaningful in the sense that we made groups among us, the people who came from different countries, and they were mixed with the Zimbabwean youth as well. And as they were discussing, because the challenges are different in countries which we are facing due to climate change. So they would come up with a solution, and that solution would then later bring out ideas that are coming from different countries. So let's say if we say it's climate change as a mirror of art and culture, they might not be really interested in climate change, but because they are artists who are still young people, they'll be eager to see how those things are connecting and how can they also assist the people that are from their country, the young people that also want to be engaged. So it's not a matter of just taking climate change as the only topic at hand. At times it's intermixing them, and also the way of campaigning and how would you interact with others. So basically in Zimbabwe, that's what we are doing. We are trying to find ways that would lure the young people to see that it's not only climate change on its own, but it's affecting a lot of areas, be it the artists, be it the careers that are different in many ways. So I think to also assist them on that part, they can as well partner with other countries that are so close by, and then they find a meaningful way of trying to bring the youth about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agatha. Beautiful contribution. Would anybody else like to ask any other questions to our presenters from Wits, or in general to the other mentors, maybe other challenges that you might be facing? Kabunmi, would you like to ask something? Go ahead.
Not a question, actually. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the session, and I think I'm going to refer to this training session with my students when we meet at the end of the month, so that they will be encouraged. And I have kind of picked out one or two exercises that I think I will introduce to them, and I hope they will be able to, practice it. So thank you. I enjoyed the two speakers.
Thank you so much, Kabunmi. Okay, so then I think we're going to wrap up this call, keeping it on time. And I think I have shared in the chat the two links, one for the South African Food Sovereignty Campaign, and I've also shared the link to the Climate Justice Charter Movement. In the recording, I hope that we will share them in the comments or in the description of the video, so that you'll still be able to link. Thank you, Klaus is nodding, so thank you. So you'll still be able to access those links in the recorded version. And just a reminder that in the toolkit, in your mentor's toolkit guidebook, there's also more information about the South African Food Sovereignty Campaign and the Climate Justice Charter Movement, as well as the greater Via Campesina, which is a big global movement around food sovereignty. And they're advocating very much for access to land, for climate justice. They advocate strongly for non-genetically modified seeds, so for heirloom, indigenous, local and healthy seed varieties that are climate adapted. And these are all movements that are real and that are powerful, and at the center and the heart of these movements are human beings and young people and farmers and people just like us. So yeah, I encourage you to read that section of the toolkit. I hope it makes a little bit more sense, or it's a little bit more real for you now. And yeah, I encourage you all for the second cohort, if this is something your mentees are interested in. I know in Togo you're very active in the gardens and the food growing, yeah, to keep up with it. Oh, thank you. Klaus has just shared the Living Earth Campaign Resource Hub as well, where there's more trainings and workshops on permaculture, on food growing. I think there's one even on natural building. So there's many inspiring tools that we can use. And I also want to give a big thank you to Nessa and Simpiwe for joining us today. I know that they're very busy students with busy schedules, and it's not easy to get them together at the same time. And I also want to thank you for the work that you're both doing on the ground in the Wits campus. I think it's easy to us to imagine universities as these very privileged spaces because we have I have a stereotyped view of what university is about. And I was shocked to know that there are hungry students on campuses where their school fees, their university fees are paid, but they can't afford to eat. And I think as talking of climate justice, this is a huge way to act and to bring climate justice and this campaign into even the urban environment. Many young people nowadays are living in very urban spaces and they feel like, or they might feel that if they're not able to plant a tree or go out there or work on the landscape or clean a river, that they're not able to act on behalf of the climate. But the climate is also in our cities, and the climate and climate justice also can be enacted out, or action can be taken within these urban environments. And that's what I find also deeply inspiring inside the city of Johannesburg. They're creating this hub for seeds, for plants, for talking about water. There's a whole water commons campaign to this where they're also fighting for people's rights to land within the city itself. So yeah, I encourage you all to either take actions yourselves or to really help your mentees understand that any small action, even in an urban space, is important and powerful and relevant to the challenges that we as a global community are facing, but especially here in sub-Saharan Africa, in the context where we find ourselves. Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining. Is there anyone you'd like to, let's close by maybe, do you want to take a group photo? We'll switch on our cameras for a moment, if possible. Let's switch on our cameras and and we can take a group photo.
I'll change a view. Yeah, please turn on your cameras so that your beautiful faces can be seen on the screen. Put on your smile, the best smile you've got in 1, 2. We are missing Bridget, Fabumi, and Bella. Yeah. Oh, NASA. Okay, I am taking a few now. You can feel free to change your pose, you know. I understand a lot of people prefer to have their best sides on. Perfect. I'm taking a
Thank
few.
you, Klaus.
All right, one last photo, maybe one last. Now that Fabumi is here, we have to take. Perfect. Agatha, you're doing really good.
And I just want to acknowledge the miracle of us coming together in a digital space. I know we have our challenges, electricity, data, laptops, etc. times, and I just want to acknowledge the gift and the privilege to be in this space with you all. I love seeing your faces again. It really gives me a lot of hope and inspiration. And now I'm going to ask for one word from everybody. 2 words, just 2 words. How do you feel now? And what did you learn? Just one key word that sums up what you learned. How do you feel? What did you? 2 words. We can type it in the chat or you can say it out loud. So I feel inspired and I learned youth power.
We have some in the chat. Abdallah feels motivated. Agatha feels empowered too. NASA feels hopeful.
I feel
inspired. Yes, Fabumi?
I feel motivated. And
Enoch engaged. Yes, more?
Yeah, and I've learned about food garden.
Great. Bella says inspired. Super. There is a comment from Abdallah. I feel motivated and I learned importance of food sovereignty.
Yeah.
Any more reactions? Also, for those who haven't spoken, Kate invited everyone to unmute their mics and say something. Don't be shy.
No, I just wanted to thank also Kate for bringing Nessa and Spiwe onto the platform, and really grateful for each and everybody to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Enoch. You're so welcome.
There are no more comments, Kate, so I'll hand it over back to you. Only
Okay,
from
so then
Ayala. Actually, there is one more that has just come in. I've learned about food garden and greenhouse. And then Alid says, merci beaucoup.
beautiful. Okay, great. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. We'll have another call in 3 weeks' time, on the 28th, I believe. And I'm really looking forward to sharing with you some more. And I think a sneak peek, I'm going to introduce you, if you don't know about it already, to the Voices for Change project and some really fun, inspiring song that we've written as part of this project, which I think will bridge really nicely to the young people that are in your cohorts for the next project. So sneak peek, you can do some research, Voices for Change, but we'll talk about it a bit more in the next session. And I'm looking forward to connecting then. Yeah. Thank you for joining, everyone.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone,
Bye.
take
Bye.
care.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too.
Kate, there's something for you before you leave. It's a request from Inyanya to share the link to Soil Commons here. You're muted.
Sorry, Mercy. Mercy, do you mean to the Soil for Life manifesto or the Water Commons that I mentioned?
It just came to me since a lot of our conversation today was around gardening and food sovereignty. I think it would be good to add the information about the soil commons and water to us as mentors for
So I
reference.
believe the Water Commons project you'll find on the same link as the Climate Justice Charter Movement. It's under the same umbrella of Climate Justice Charter Movement. I can look for the link. And the Soil for Life manifesto, I know the link is also in the toolkit, but give me 1 minute. I'll just use my search engine to find it.
And we can also share it in our WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Kate is not in the group now, so.
Oh, okay.
But I'll share to Klaus and Klaus can share. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mercy. I'll
Thank
share it
you.
there. And maybe, Klaus, you could actually share all the links. I'll make you a list that you can share for everyone.
Super, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And Ali,
Thanks.
thank you for bearing with me. You know, I hope I was doing a good job translating in French. But yeah, thank you. All right, bye everyone.
Merci beaucoup, Klaus. Thank you for the translation.
Nicholas, Janet said that we need to stay on for 30 minutes after this call. For the
Yeah. For that call. Yes, I will still leave the room open, I guess, for everyone.
But
Guys, my device is overheating, so I'm gonna cut out. And then I'll come back on. I'm so sorry. I just had it in the sun.
No worries. You don't have to stay. You don't have to stay behind, Kate.
Okay.
They
Great.
want to link up with the work that they are now doing and have their
Perfect.
normal.
I'll leave you on. Okay.
All right.
I'm so sorry. I'm checking out. Thank you all. Bye.
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 But who's supposed to lead that call?
I'm
Because
not sure.
I'm seeing
Yeah,
mentors have dropped out of the call. So
yeah, I'm just gonna, I will also have to drop out soon, but let me see.
My role was to take a note.
Who
yeah,
was
I
leading?
just saw that you.
My role was to take a note, so I think
Who
I
was
should
leading
take
the
it.
call then, Abdara? Who's leading the call? Well, if they don't show
We
up,
have
you
the
take up the role of moderating.
I can't remember it
yeah, we
because
don't have a
We didn't have a moderator?
I think we decided who the moderator will be. I just can't remember who.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can locate your previous meeting document. But obviously now the topic would be, maybe some of you can also text in the group chat that we're staying behind. But I guess what's important, at least from my end, would be to discuss where we are all at with now the projects. As we are now already in August. And if I look at, I'm trying to look at the timeline we shared. I think we're looking at already now having these projects so that you can start working on putting them together, ready for review. I'm having a call later on with the youth committee, CCIVS youth committee, and it'd be interesting for me to like know where we are all at so that I can share the update and see that we're on time in terms of
Actually, I just before
yeah.
we go there, I wanted to ask Abdallah if he could share more information about the zero waste initiatives. I checked your website, but I don't know, maybe I'm not finding what I need
Okay.
because I was thinking maybe Kenya and Tanzania can collaborate on some info sessions on the green school programs and
Yeah.
the zero waste initiatives because there's a school we're working with, though the participants are younger, they're not mentors, but they have a very active environmental club, and I think we could arrange like a virtual call or a social media thing, I don't know, but just something that a way for us to collaborate and
Yeah.
especially on the zero waste because
Yeah.
they have a big farm where they produce their own food. They are providing water to the community,
Okay.
but I'm not sure how their zero waste whatever is working. So I think it would be good to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I think that should be very strategic point to start engaging each other. Of course, on our website, there are some missing piece of information, and now we are working on the updates on that. We have already tasked our consultant, IT consultant, to work on that. I think very soon it will be reverse the informations and all informations will be there. There's a lot of information there out on the website, but they are on our social medias. So we need to adjust that and refine all the informations. And concerning the like synergies or partnerships or collaborations, yeah, I think that is true, and we can do that because these ideas is out of nowhere. No one owns it. So once it's implemented somewhere and it has proven beyond no doubt that it can be also replicated in other parts of the area. Because Kenyans, Tanzanians, Ugandans, we have all almost more commonalities. So we share some weather, we share some culture, even language. So it's very important, I think, also to share these ideas. And for the zero C school, as I've said, we are now working with the primary school and the secondary schools, and they have shown it and they proved it that it can be done in their school compound. And that's why currently, as I speak, the demands are quite higher than our capacity of handling it. So the head teachers and the headmasters, they keep ringing their phones and calling us like asking if we can replicate the system in their schools.